Hello everyone, welcome back to Scodex. In this video, we are going to build a premium animated light and dark mode toggle using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I already have 3 separate text files prepared, one for HTML, one for CSS, and one for JavaScript. First, I'm opening the HTML text file. Here we have the basic HTML document structure, including the doc type, HTML tag, head section, meta tags, title, and body. The most important part here is the button element, which will work as our theme toggle. We give this button an ID called theme toggle so JavaScript can find it later, and we also use classes such as switch, icon, and knob container so CSS can style each part separately. Inside the button, we have 2 SVG icons representing the on and off states, and we have the knob container with a glow element in the main knob. At this stage, HTML is only creating the structure. We haven't added the visual designer functionality yet. Now I'm using save as and saving this text file as index.html. I'm making sure that the file extension is HTML because this tells the browser that this is an HTML document. Now let's open the file in the browser and check the preview. As you can see, the basic structure is there, but it doesn't look like our final premium toggle yet. That's because we haven't added our CSS. Now I'm going back to my CSS text file and adding the CSS code to our project. First, we define CSS custom properties inside root. These variables store our colors, shadows, gradients, and glow effects. This is useful because we can reuse these values throughout the style sheet and easily change the design later. Next, we create a separate data theme equals dark section. When this attribute is applied to the HTML document, our CSS variables change and the dark theme becomes active. Now let's look at the main switch class. Here we define the width, height, border radius, background, border, and box shadow of the toggle. The large border radius creates the rounded vertical shape, while box shadow gives the switch depth. We also use backdrop filter, blur to create the glassmorphism effect. Next, we style the top and bottom SVG icons and position them inside the switch. Then we style the knob container and use transform, translate Y to control its position. The transition property makes the movement smooth, and the cubic-bezier function gives the animation a more natural feeling. We also have a glow element with a blur filter and a keyframe animation that creates the pulsing neon glow. Now I'm adding this CSS to the HTML file and saving the project. Let's refresh the browser and check the preview again. As you can see, the simple HTML structure has now become a complete premium-looking toggle with glassmorphism, shadows, a glowing knob, and smooth visual effects. However, the button doesn't actually switch between light mode and dark mode yet. That's where JavaScript comes in. Now I'm opening the third text file, which contains our JavaScript code. First, we use document getElement by addTheme toggle to find the toggle button that we created in our HTML. This is an important JavaScript concept. JavaScript can access HTML elements through the DOM, which stands for Document Object Model. Next, we check localStorage to see if the user has already selected a theme. We also check the user's system preference using Match Media, so we can choose an appropriate theme when there is no saved preference. Then we create the apply theme function. This function is responsible for applying either the light or dark theme. When dark mode is selected, JavaScript adds the data theme equals dark attribute to the HTML element. Our CSS detects this attribute and automatically changes the colors and moves the knob to the top. When light mode is selected, the attribute is removed and the light mode variables become active again. Next, we use addEventListener click to detect when the user clicks the toggle. Every click changes the isDark value and calls the apply theme function. We also save the selected theme using localStorage. Set item so the preference can remain after refreshing the page. Finally, we have keyboard support for enter and space, and a create ripple function that creates the ripple effect when the user clicks the switch. Now I'm adding the JavaScript code to our HTML file and saving everything. Let's open the browser and see the final result. As you can see, the toggle is now fully interactive. When I click the switch, the knob smoothly moves from the bottom to the top, the background changes from light mode to dark mode, and the glow changes from pink to cyan. When I click it again, everything smoothly returns to light mode. The ripple effect also appears when the button is clicked. Now let's refresh the page. Because we used local storage, the selected theme is remembered even after refreshing. So let's quickly understand how all three technologies work together in this project. HTML created the structure of the toggle, CSS controlled the design, colors, layout, shadows, and animations, and JavaScript added the logic and interactivity. This is one of the most important concepts for beginners to understand. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are different technologies, but they work together to create a complete interactive website. And that's our premium animated dark and light mode toggle. If you enjoyed this project and learned something new, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Scodex, and I'll see you in the next web development project. Thanks for watching and happy coding. Rock it!